You're live, Davis. This is the show you host.
We're here. We did it. We did it. The Gillcast. We got Pete. We got Nate. We got Sammy. This is the first time in like the 9-year history, I'm pretty sure is how long, I've known these idiots. We got a fourth added on to the Gillcast. And, like many things, Pete, this started out as a bit. Started out as a joke. Oh, yeah, Pete, he'll come on the show. We'll play week 17. And, about $5,000 of head-to-heads later, just tell me about your experience. Give me, before we get into just tell me about your experience.
Your mic is like in your hoodie right now. Like we can barely hear you.
No, my gain is down because I'm trying to. I'm trying to.
Because of Nate. Nate told you to turn down.
My mic is fine.
No, Nate, your mic sounds terrible, and so does Sammy's.
Wait, my mic sounds good, man. My gain's flat.
I'm using the Yeti this time.
Everyone's good. This is gonna be an absolute shit show. I can just tell. But yes, my first week of playing cash, being a part of the Gillcast text thread this week has been a dream come true. I mean, Davis had me thinking I was going to lose 100% of my action this week after Marvin Jones second.
It wasn't looking good, bud. It was not looking good for us. At about 2 p.m. Central Time, 3 p.m. Eastern, things were looking pretty thin for the gang. It was not great, but of course, I actually don't know what people were rooting for with this show with Peter on, but I hate to break it to you guys. We all won. We all made money. Nate didn't make as much money as he should have because he's stubborn. But we love him anyways. You got to jam in
DeAndre Swift, baby. He's the play.
He was
as good as Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, it was.
He was the only one who played Marvin Jones, Nate.
Yeah, it was looking good until that the last 200-yard game I faded from Jonathan Taylor. I mean, I was like sweeping until Jonathan Taylor hit the 245.
Oh, we saw the tweets, Nate. We know.
It was tilting. It was tilting. I still made it. To be clear, I still profited on a week 17, but it was not as good as it should have been.
Yeah, Nate, you only get so many chances to play two 250-yard rushers in cash in the same week. I did it. That felt good. Davis did it. Felt good. Pete did it. That felt good.
I
only had one 250-yard rusher. That must have felt pretty bad.
I thought I'd rather take Adrian Peterson's backup instead.
So Pete, before we get into the scores and everything, just tell me about your experience. How do you feel after a week of being a cash game grinder? Was it what you expected? Was it different than you expected? Were you more or less upset than a usual Sunday?
So I legitimately enjoyed the shell process, tinkering with my shell, moving little crustaceans in and out of my shell throughout the week, having a singular focus throughout everything. I did enjoy that. The kind of late slate swap kind of thing was just massively stressful. We had so much PMR left. I had no idea what to do with some of these kind of fringe cases where I was doing 2v2s, but I didn't know if I should be doing it. And that was incredibly stressful. The GPP bros, they just have 3 or 4 lineups, do a couple late swaps. You're good to go. When you have 100 head-to-heads, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
Yeah, scaling. Well, this was a really terrible late swap cash slate because most of the time you're looking at late swapping like 3 spots, but basically
usually there's like 2 games in the afternoon or like 3, and this week there was a million.
8.
Yeah. So
to be clear.
Yeah, we had like one guy in the morning. You guys had like 2 or 3. It was like you had no idea what anybody else had, and you had no idea what you needed. It was pretty wild.
To be clear, though, Davis takes it to an extreme.
Late swaps, which was great.
Davis takes it to an extreme. Every day at 12:15, 15 minutes after the game start, he goes, "I got to swap off everything in my every week."
Marvin Jones
every single week,
swap, boys.
Davis is like so dead. Got to swap off everything.
But I was right. When Marvin Jones had 4 for 60 and a touchdown after the first drive, I knew that swapping was coming, and I was right. I was 100% right.
My day. He ruined my day because literally 4 minutes into the slate, I'm like, I got to change everything, and then it was fine. It was fine, Davis.
If you would have just put Davis on mute,
every week,
your Sunday experience would have been so much better.
So how do I get the Gillcast chat without Davis? Because that's the one I need, I guess.
You just got to learn
here's
to ignore
the score. Whirling Dervish, 190.10. I scored 189.9, which Pete, this is our unaltered lineup. This was our non-swap. Pete and I both made some swaps in. We had to swap against people who had both Kirk Cousins and Marvin Jones Jr. In head-to-heads after the beginning of the slate. Nate Noling, 176.6. And then Pete, much like yourself, much like myself, your swap lineup died. My swap lineup died too. I swapped in games where I was playing against people who had Kirk Cousins and Marvin Jones. I swapped Chris Carson over Derrick Henry, 30-point loss right there. And I swapped Corey Davis over Richie James. And I think they basically got the same amount of points. And then you did what? Carson and Woods. So yeah, same thing.
We lost. Sammy, is it poor form to do your swap in the 4-man, the Gillcast 4-man? Because that's what I did. And it seemed like it was maybe poor form.
No, it was fine. It was just, we knew that you had the same lineup as Davis. We knew you duped him, bro. So it's all good.
Yeah, Davis, should we just get the elephant out in the room? Lots of calls for collusion, people saying we held hands while we built our cash game lineups. Let people know how the sausage got made.
So this is why you and I played the same lineup, is because we both wanted to play Chenault. So people who wanted to play Chenault, if you wanted to play Chenault, what else would you have done?
Holy shit. I can't believe you played Laviska Chenault in cash games 2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks in a row.
Survived.
And got three touchdowns out of it. Like, this is just like all-time branding.
Hey, I'm a scout, bro. I know what I see, and Laviska just creates touchdowns, bro. He creates them.
Yeah, and before people get the full clue, so Saul Goodman, you guys might know him on Twitter. He scooped one of my head-to-heads. He had the exact same lineup that Davis and I had too. So if you wanted to play Chenault, you were getting funneled to that lineup.
Yeah, you got to email DraftKings, get your rake back, man.
Did there actually have to email them about that?
Yeah.
Yes. I'll hit up
They are supposed.
I never have to do it because nobody ever dupes me, so it's not a problem.
Yeah, Sammy's never had to worry about that.
They are supposed to automatically credit you, but they don't a lot of the time. So that's not great. So these were the locks: Jonathan Taylor, Ty Montgomery, Devontae Adams, Derrick Henry, and the Browns defense. Was
Jonathan Taylor a lock?
One of the people in the Gillcast crew did not think that Jonathan Taylor was a lock, which was an interesting theory. It was just interesting overall. So what that did lead to, though, is there was actually a lot of overlap this week. Like, I'm sure if I go through my games, I'm sure I was duped. There was a lot of 1v1s, like Keyshawn Johnson versus Richie James style games, Deshaun Hamilton versus whoever style games. I'll let Nate go here, because Nate was the earliest to play Kirk. Break me down why we all played Kirk Cousins.
Well, I really liked the game environment. I thought it was the second highest total of the week. It was in a dome. Both defenses are just brutal. And, I know Davis loves to talk about this whole motivation thing, but like Detroit hasn't had anything to play for, and like they still go out. Like, so I didn't have any fear about like this game turning into something like, as long as Stafford was in, this game was going to be a high-scoring game for me. So I wanted Kirk. Ultimately, I also wanted Jefferson, but obviously couldn't get there in cash. I thought Jefferson was a great play. I thought Swift was a great play. I thought Jones was a great play. Honestly, if it was a different week, I could have even gotten to Stafford in cash. I just didn't need to. I felt better about Kirk, but I wanted that game in cash. That was like the priority for me.
I love how when you said Davis with this whole motivation thing is as if he invented like the angle of talking about motivation in week 17.
The first person. Yeah.
Well, no, but it's Davis. Davis like loves narrative street. He's grown and matured a lot in his game recently, but like he's still, when you give him a narrative, like Davis loves it. He just loves
it's
it.
not narrative though, Nate. Some teams have mathematical reasons
to play
the game, and some don't.
Teams don't care. Yeah.
When you know someone's not going to be on the field, that is not motivation. That's like the coach has said, we are not playing these guys full snaps. You don't play the Bills because we know they're not playing the full game. When Matt Stafford is out there, when Matt Stafford is out there, there's no reason to question whether or not Matt Stafford wants to win a football game and is going to throw the ball as hard. Like, he's going to make the best decisions he can, the best throws that he can. Marvin Jones is going to run the routes that he can. Like, They're not going to
weren't you on Motivation Street? I mean, Matt Stafford guts through like 6 different injuries.
He did. He got on Motivation.
But he guts it out and he gets out there. Don't you think the men around him are going to rally? Don't you think Marvin Jones is going to step his game up and say, look, if Matt Stafford's going to put it on the line, I'm putting it on the line too. That's what he did. And you played Marvin Jones. I think this was closet sharp of you. I don't know why you're hating on the narrative.
No, it wasn't closet. I just wanted to play the game. Like, the motivation factor was not
just the dome boner. That's it.
Well, Marvin Jones obviously has been getting incredible volume for his price. He was a value regardless of where
Marvin Jones yet. We're on Kirk Cousins right now. We will let you have your moment with Marvin Jones. Pete,
okay.
What did
Kirk Cousins with no Dalvin? They were going to pass. You have to play Kirk Cousins with no Dalvin because that was they're not going to run the ball with Alexander Madison in the red zone the way they have been with.
Getting steamrolled by Nolan on the Gillcast is like a dream come true. Keep throwing questions to me and just have Nolan keep talking about Marvin Jones. I want it.
He wants it so bad. What he wants to do is he wants to get as much Marvin Jones talk in before we get to Jonathan Taylor. He just wants as many moments of Marvin Jones chat.
My internet is just going to
internet is going to suspiciously like start glitching out. His mic's going to get messed up. I gotta go, guys. Bye.
Yeah. I wanted to pretty much try and play Aaron Rodgers all day. Like I really wanted to play Aaron Rodgers. For some narrative street reasons. And then also just because Rodgers gets 20 or 25 pretty much every time he plays, but obviously not great. I mean, Lamar, a lot of people played, but he only got 25. He ended up 3 yards short of the rushing bonus. Did you ever have any other QBs in your shell, Pete?
I had wanted to get up to Lamar, just couldn't get it fit because once you wanted Adams, Henry, and JT, there was just no way you were getting up to Lamar. And then I had messed around with some Drew Lock teams during moments of weakness. And then I said, I cannot go on the Gillcast and play Drew Lock. It actually would have worked out swimmingly.
That 92-yard Judy touchdown at the end would have been a big dopamine hit for you, buddy.
Yeah, this is what happened and why I'm a little disappointed because I had a few Galaxy Brain plays in me. I really wanted to play Ty Johnson over Ty Montgomery, and it would have been fun. It would have been great. And then I got so much money in play that I just clenched up and I got scared and I was just like, I have to play the best place.
I gave you a little bit of side action though. I gave you Ty Montgomery versus Ty Johnson. So we'll add because I bought some of your games. So we'll settle up after this. And then Nate and I also got a bet in as well. You know, Nate loves his Whopper. So he wanted to bet me Robbie Anderson versus Curtis Samuel because earlier in the week I was saying that I liked Curtis Samuel more than Marvin Jones. Fish, but at least Curtis Samuel was better than Robbie Anderson.
Yeah, that is true. Robbie Anderson, not. I didn't play him luckily, but not a good week.
Davis, I was trying to get that bet too. I wanted the Nate side. You wouldn't let me have it.
I know. I should. Well, I had Robbie more money for literally the same points. All right, let's do running backs. Sammy, JT, take it away.
Boom. I mean, look, Nate. Here's the thing. Sometimes you got to watch the tape, brother. Sometimes you got to watch the tape. You got to see that this guy early in the season didn't have a lot of vision. He was missing the holes. And for whatever reason, like 5 weeks ago, he figured it out. Wilkins out of there, got some COVID. And it's just like Jacksonville is just like such a dumpster fire. It was going to be also big motivation for Indianapolis when Miami lost early in the day. They had to win this game. And what are they going to do? Are they gonna ride Phil Rivers? Hell no! They know where the bread is buttered. They're gonna give it to Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor just put himself into like maybe a top 10 pick next year in seasonal drafts.
Yes.
This was a complete smash show. And,
the FFPC grinders are just salivating at Jonathan Taylor at pick number 8 overall. Pete, can't you just see it?
They are definitely squirting.
I will say right now. Jonathan Taylor's FFPC 2021 ADP settles top 5. Guaranteed. I will book that right now, dude. They are going to fall over themselves drafting Jonathan Taylor.
That's hot.
Yeah, he'll go over Zeke for sure. Probably, I bet even over Barkley too, which is
definitely
really
over Zeke, bro. Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Now,
the
Ryan
three of us played
Haradji
JT.
Sammy. No.
Yeah. Only one of us didn't play him. Now, what really ruined the week, by the way, was Malcolm Brown not being a play anymore because Nate was close to fading both Derrick Henry and Jonathan Taylor, which would have made this, I think, one of the best episodes of this show of all time. Is Nate starts out the morning on the high with Marvin Jones. He's calling us nerds. He's calling us fish. He's like, I can't believe you guys didn't play Marvin Jones, the Whopper, and just to have to eat 500 rushing yards. And what was it? 5 touchdowns combined?
Yeah, 4 touchdowns. I mean, just imagine we all played 2 250-yard rushers and Nate played none. Like, it was so goddamn close. I mean, we have been robbed. This is the
listeners have been robbed.
This is like missing the bonus with like 6 different players at 99 yards. This could have been so freaking epic. Nate Noling would have died on the podcast today. Just RIP. But instead he, just shaded Henry the entire season all week. And then he's like, all right, I'm going to play him, which just always happens to Nate. Nate always has these freaking galaxy brain lineups all week. And it's just like, he's texting us these things and it's just like so insane. And then Sunday morning, he just like gets his shit together and he's like, oh, okay, I'll like play the good plays. And it like works out and he smashes. It's so
Nate, do I have permission to show a photo of your, I actually already did it before. I just want to know.
His proprietary model.
Yeah. We're all sharing screenshots. It's all screenshots from DraftKings. And then Nate sends his over. It looks like it's from like an IBM computer from 1983. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
This is Pete. This is what we have to deal with every week. He shows up with Calvin Ridley at 8,500 in these lineups and no Derrick Henry in the Matrix code in binary, and we're just looking at him like, what's going on? What is this? What are we even supposed to do?
I was this close. I was this close. I mean, honestly, if Malcolm Brown would have been in, I would have faded Henry. Like it like I wouldn't even have thought twice. That was the thing that saved me this week because I would have lost everything. What
did Ridley even get? Like
12? I mean, Ridley bombed. Ridley just bombed. I don't know how. I didn't watch any of that game.
Was there maybe some like motivation concerns? Like maybe was he not fully motivated in a game that didn't matter?
Davis, you are such a fish. They put up like 30 points.
Well, yeah. I mean, they did okay. Pete, did it hurt you to have to play big dog? Like, did you ever, out of just brand loyalty, just be like, I'm not doing it?
No, I'm like, so Pete, this is what happens to me, right? And we've talked about this with, you start out doing these bits and then they become real. Like once I committed to just exclusively playing cash games, like I was just eating the big dog. Like once I saw Cardi's projection for it, I'm like, it doesn't matter. I literally did not look at ownership once this week. I just looked at the projections. I looked at the optimals. And of course we were jamming the big dog. It just was going to happen.
No one played a jet, which I think, people got robbed of a little bit. Pete didn't play Tyler Johnson. What do we think? I literally have not looked at the Jets box score. Let's just everyone take a guess.
Yeah,
what do we think? Okay, Pete, what do you think Denzel Mims got today?
Oh my God, it's crazy. I literally
wait. How many air yards did he get though, Pete?
I did not see him mentioned once on Twitter. I did not see
once.
anything in Gamecast. I bet he didn't have anything. I bet he had a bagel.
Nate,
yeah, but he had air yards
on Mims.
for sure.
What was it, Nate?
I have no idea.
Nate, we need Sammy, give me a guess on Mims.
One for 18.
Yeah, I guess it's under 5.
1 reception, 15 yards. For Denzel Mims.
Winner, chicken dinner.
Herndon, 9 targets, 63 yards, 7 receptions, and a touchdown.
Man, we should have just gone back.
What did Ty Johnson end up with?
Ty Johnson, 11 carries. Yeah. He split work exactly with Josh Adams, 11 for Adams, 11 for Ty Johnson, 2 targets for Ty Johnson, 4 targets for Josh Adams. The thesis behind the play did not hit. So Ty Montgomery, pretty interesting game for our buddy Ty Montgomery. He gets dunked on by Darwin Thompson, who I'm like the largest fraud in the history of fantasy football for not playing. I did play him. I did play him. Where, Sammy?
On FanDuel.
On FanDuel. It is crazy to me, by the way.
Did you also play Marvin Jones on FanDuel?
You could say like anything, like if Davis didn't have Bitcoin, he'd be like, no, but I have Bitcoin on FanDuel. So it's
yeah,
fine.
but I have Bitcoin on FanDuel.
I might have a bunch of Dogecoin on DraftKings, but
I'm making a vow to myself next year. For every dollar in cash games that I enter on DraftKings, I'm going to make myself enter that same amount on FanDuel because it's not even really close how much softer the games are. Like, it is just unbelievable how much, like in the low and mid stakes, your ROI is just going to be better.
Davis,
on FanDuel. I mean, maybe that's.
I'm going to do it too. I'm taking some action at FanDuel. Let's do this together, brother.
Should the Gillcast convert to a two site show?
Absolutely not.
I mean, we should all play there, but I think we're all just going to lose more often on DraftKings because the games are much harder, and that's what people want. Like, they want to hear us.
Interesting discussion. It's like, oh, FanDuel. I just like jammed in like all the best plays
I played the
and
best
money.
plays.
Like so easy, yeah.
So Ty Montgomery though, 18 rushing attempts, 105 yards. He got extremely lucky to get this. By the way, he had a 33-yard run, a 17-yard run, and then they gave him 4 carries at the end of the game to get him over there. But
well, I mean, you're saying he's lucky, but I thought he was unlucky. He got like 1 target the whole game. I thought that was the like thesis behind the play is he was going to be like Kamara.
Yeah, but the thesis was just wrong.
Wow.
Yeah, he wasn't used at all, like how we thought it was. We got
where's number
totally
88?
lucky.
I mean, what are we doing here?
I don't know. I mean, Pete was on this early. Pete didn't want to play Ty Montgomery.
I mean, it's not. I mean, he ended up being a better play than Ty Johnson, who I would have played instead. So I don't. I mean, he hit the bonus. I mean, 18 carries for 105. I mean, I don't know. It's fine, right?
Yeah, and got cucked by Taysom Hill. It's just like, when will we ever learn about the Saints running backs? It's just like setting up so big for a Taysom cuck. And yet I never saw it coming until it happened. And it was like, oh yeah, of course. Like, why did I do this?
This Ty Montgomery game gave me huge throwbacks to the 2018 Dwayne Washington week where Kamara got all the first half touches, even though they were playing for nothing. And on the last play of the game, Dwayne Washington busted off like a 12-yard run or something to get 101 yards, which mean that he got 13.1 DraftKings points because he hit the bonus with no receptions and no targets. You'll never forget.
Strong. Do you remember when Ty Montgomery was like a stone cold lock when he was on the Packers like 2 or 3 years ago, and we just jammed him in for like each of the first 3 weeks and printed, and then he got hurt. It was like gone.
It was longer ago than that. It was 4 years ago. In Green Bay. Yeah.
No shit. All right.
And I remember the first week you and I played him and Nate didn't. And he was like, you guys are so stupid playing a wide receiver at running back. He's not going to get any touches, bro.
Yep.
That does sound like me.
All right. So that's running back. All right, Nate. Do your fucking bit. Wait.
We're going to talk about Nate playing DeAndre Swift, right?
Oh, yeah, Nate. Okay.
Yeah, first, I have to take my L there.
The glory. Yeah, take it first.
Yeah, I got to take my L there. Well, I mean, I already talked about it. The game environment was the number one reason, but DeAndre Swift has gotten like elite passing usage the past like 5-6 weeks. I mean, I think he's had over 5 targets or above in the last 5 straight games. And outside of Eckler, I think he was like second highest target share for any running back on the slate for me. And with the price discount from JT, I had him at a very similar rushing attempt share. It was like 10 to 12% less rushing attempt share, way higher target share, and then a lower touchdown projection. And I thought I could save money there and get up from one of the floor wide receivers that I didn't want to play. And so I just went to Swift. It wasn't that I hated Jonathan Taylor. It was just that I thought Swift was a better use of like $1,200 less that discount was better spent at wide receiver. And I ate it with Swift. I mean, that was tilting.
Well, you had to pay up for Keelan.
Weren't you worried about Adrian Peterson?
I was not worried about Adrian Peterson, which was a miss.
Oh, poor. He ripped off like a 30-yard run like immediately. Nate, you forgot about the revenge narrative, bro. You got to be more tied into the motivations. They wanted to get him a touchdown today, bro.
Yeah. I mean, Nate actually, like, you ran super good for Swift to get that touchdown at the end because they were like down with like time expiring and they like hurried up. Somebody got down to like the 2-yard line and then they played hurry up. and got Swift in, and he like got in by pubic hair.
He didn't run that good because it was Marvin Jones that got them to the 2, and that would have gotten Marvin to 51 for the day.
Yeah, but I mean, but a lot of people played Marvin, and nobody played Swift.
Yeah, what was Swift owned in your games? Like literally 2%?
No, I think he was a little higher. I think he was closer to 10. I think 8-ish.
Yeah. All right. Do your Marvin Jones bit. Explain to what you took the L. Now you can take your victory lap on Marvin Jones, who is in every site's optimal lineup, and I excluded him due to his violations of the age model.
Just like Jamison Crowder last week, by the way, Davis.
Just like Jamison Crowder last week.
I mean, there's not a whole lot of L's to be or W's to be taken here. It was an obvious play that every projection model had. His volume was there. The Whopper is there. The game environment was there. I mean, honestly, without Galladay, he's been a smash wide receiver. Like, he just gets so much volume, and there was like no doubt that he was going to smash for me in this spot. So it was like, yeah, I didn't feel bad about it. I wasn't nervous about taking him at 5. What was he? 5'1"? He was a smash play.
Yeah, he was a great price.
He was less than Curtis Samuel, Nate, who I played.
Yeah, I mean, he was the best of all those.
I think it's time for me to take a little L here because I literally played Curtis Samuel instead of Marvin Jones Jr.
Yeah, I mean that's unforgivable, dude. Like, you donked it.
I really did
remember the gadget 4.
The gadget 4 though, bro. He's getting like 5 carries a game. I mean, honestly, so part of my problem here, Nate, was that like Stafford was pretty questionable all week. And like, we knew yesterday he was going to play, the reports, whatever Schefter bombs came out or whatever. And they're like, yeah, Stafford's going to try to play. But I never like got back off of Samuel. I was like, dude, I love Samuel. Like, he's getting so many like catchable targets. He's rushing the ball. Like, I really never thought of pivoting off him. And I think that was a pretty critical, like, clear mistake because I told you I liked Marvin Jones. Like, I've liked him for weeks and weeks. He's really been good since Galladay's gone out. I don't know why I did this. Like, Samuel did good, but it's like Marvin Jones was just such a smash. He was the nuts.
I mean, 3 of his last 4 games with Stafford healthy, he had like over a 70 Whopper with 12 targets. It was at 5'1". He was a lot.
He's in the dome.
Yeah, he was in the dome. A terrible defense. I mean, so many things.
Davis, I know in my heart of heart, if I didn't have on my desk a signed LaVisca Chenault helmet, I do the 2v2 from Ingram, Chenault to Parham and Marvin Jones. Did you consider that?
I never considered playing Marvin Jones because I just don't play guys like that. Like, I don't. It's a huge giant leak. It's a giant leak, but like 31-year-old wide receivers with a quarterback with like a broken thumb. It's just like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just not doing it. Like, literally, how old is Marvin Jones? Marvin Jones,
29 years old, bro. Like,
no, he's 30, dude. He is 30.
I'm taking the under. I'm taking the under.
No, did I tell you guys that someone played AJ Green against me in a $20 head-to-head today?
Did you learn about some of the knuckle draggers that are out there in the DK lobbies, bro?
Dude, I am not gonna lie. Tabbing through some of those teams, I was like, maybe this isn't a bit. Maybe I will become a cash game grinder, man.
Dude, I mean, he thought he was in a Mexican brothel. He got such a action. He's like, oh my god, this is incredible.
Someone played Des Bryant against me. I was like, this is great.
So the problem is that for cash to be worth all of the emotion you put into it, you'd have to get this many invites every single week. Like, you'd have to be getting $4,000 of invites every single week. Like, I get some soft games against people who are bad, but it's not enough to make up if like my team's just terrible. Like, you can win a couple 109s, but still just get crushed on the day if your team is just egregious.
Here's the thing about the cash game sweat. I mean, it is like a slow drip. It's a waterboard torture. Like GPP, yes. It's like, oh, Marvin Jones goes off and you don't have him. GG, we're done for the day. Like,
let's go out and take the dog for a walk. You're Nate Nolan.
And you guys were just like constantly, we just have to keep grinding out every Richie James target, every Ty Montgomery carry. I'm like, I hate this.
I'm above the line. I'm above the line in the double ups. Oh no!
Like you spend your whole day being frustrated to get paid like 10% is a good day.
It's the most stressful 10% you'll ever make.
Yeah, I knew it was a bit, Pete, but like really, like when you're talking about like just really barely making it over 50% wins, I mean, you really felt this today. Like this is what happened.
Oh, I felt
no.
that,
You smashed at the end, right? Like you had to have, because our non-swap team is the nuts.
Yeah, I mean, partly skewing it. So I had this weird thing where I won my 1K head-to-head, but then I lost, I believe, my 240 and multiple of my hundreds because those teams all had Marvin Jones. Those were the sharp teams. And then all of my like 20s and stuff, I just absolutely smashed. But so I ended up winning. I was in for $4,300 and I won $5,700. So that's
Boom.
cash, right? That's
Boom.
cash.
Boom.
That's cash, kid.
We'll take it. We'll take it.
I mean, it doesn't feel like you're sitting there and you're like, man, yeah, but I had all these good plays. But just let me tell you, the feeling of like losing 80% in a week in cash, like it ruins your weekend, dude. Like you get up on Monday and you're like, fuck, dude, I can't, this is terrible. Like I just lost so much money and there's no viable way for me to get it back until I do the same thing next weekend. It's terrible.
Been there.
We need to talk about these 3K floor wide receivers that everybody got on this
There
week.
we go.
Like, we need to talk about it. I want to hear.
I don't want to talk about playing Keyshawn Johnson in cash.
I want to hear what happened, like what got in the water where all of our everybody in the industry was just like, yeah, I'll take Richie James and put American dollars. And I feel confident in these guys. I mean, I played Keelan freaking Cole in cash games. I was seeing 3K wide receivers that were terror bad at like 15% ownership. What is happening? Why did we get was it just that there was 15 games and everybody?
Well,
what happened?
It's a combination of things. One, it's that there are, without a shadow of a doubt, there will be a couple 3K wide receivers who go off, right? It is just a fact of the week 17 slate, right? There's a bunch of guys resting. Some guys are showing up in optimals. Loads of guys are getting touted, right? Like that's obviously big thing is like all these 3K wide receivers are getting mentioned on shows. Like it's just all over the place. And so our optimal on DK had one of them in. I think it was Richie James. I'm honestly not even sure at this point because I have my Showdown stuff up right now. And I think the ETR optimal had one of the cheap wide receivers. I don't know.
Think they had Richie.
Yeah. So it's just like if those guys are in the popular optimals, that just gets people thinking of it. And then people will be like, oh, I like Keelan Cole. Oh, I like Deshaun Hamilton. If you're Sammy, it's Keyshawn Johnson.
Look, dude, if I had the extra $100, I would have played Richie James. Like I just didn't have it.
No.
I ran so bad. Kyler Murray went out for most of the game. Keyshawn Johnson, he would have smashed. I'm sure of it.
Josh Reynolds also showed up in some optimals. Gabriel Davis and Isaiah McKenzie were both showing up in my stuff.
Holy shit, Gabriel Davis. Like that was
run pure
low play. He had nothing through like 3 quarters and ended up with like 21 or something like that. Like seriously.
Well, he had two targets, 2 receptions, 107 yards and a touchdown.
It's so insane. I mean, they were up like 30 points in the 4th quarter and like deep bombed it to him just to dunk on Miami. It was out of control.
And I have to admit it, man. Gabriel Davis was in my shell for a lot of the week. A lot of the week.
You could have been one of these fish who sucked out, Pete. Like that's a tough scene. I would have liked to see that.
I mentioned Isaiah McKenzie on the Swolecast, and I thought about playing him for about 0.6 seconds, and then John Brown got announced in. But would that have not been? Would me have playing Isaiah McKenzie in cash been the best or worst Gillcast of all time?
Worst.
Yeah, the worst for me.
The worst.
Probably the worst. Yeah.
Did you play him on FanDuel though?
Yeah, I wouldn't have done the show.
No, I played Richie James on FanDuel too. Tough scenes. All right, Pete, let's talk about our fucking miserable swaps because we were in a spot where we had to swap against people who had what I ended up deciding was people who played Kirk Cousins and Marvin Jones, and that was all they flipped. I was going to swap. So in about $200 worth of games, including one of my 109s, I swapped off of the nuts. I swapped off of Derrick Henry and Richie James for Chris Carson and Corey Davis, thinking they're pretty basic. Corey Davis leverage off of the big dog. Chris Carson, favorite against the 49ers with no Carlos Hyde. What just walk me through your swaption experience.
Yeah, I thought the Chris Carson thing was good. I just thought Robert Woods had a little more upside there. I guess I just didn't feel like I needed the leverage that much individually once I wasn't playing big dog. I don't know. I feel like you're kind of hoping that game fails or something, or get gross, or they get defensive touchdowns. But it didn't feel good. I was also considering a Mike Williams, DK Metcalf one, which honestly would have been good because I would have kept Henry in that one, and I was pivoting off of Adams and Richie James to go Metcalf. And obviously Metcalf wouldn't have hit, but just getting off of Adams, I think, was the sharper play. But what I didn't know, I didn't have a good read. The lineups I was going against that had Jefferson, I was pretty sure they didn't have Adams, but they would have Henry. But on some that didn't have that, I had no idea if what they would have both. And so I'm like, obviously I'd swap off the one I knew they had, but you just have such limited information when they only have 2 or 3 guys going. So my brain was in a knot on that, and I didn't know what to do. And I just did the blanket swap on a lot of those where I was buried and just prayed for the best.
Yeah. But did you swap it all, Sammy? With no Marvin Jones?
No. I don't swap. Hell no, dude. I had a dope ass lineup. Like, I wasn't gonna swap. I'm not you. I didn't panic. I'm like, dude, I have this.
What did you have? Oh, because you also didn't have. You also didn't have the Ingram airball.
No, right. I didn't.
Yeah, the Ingram thing was tilting.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Devontae thing before we get to Ingram, though.
I mean, he just ran bad. The Packers ran. Like here at one point,
was it Bakhtiari? Was it Bakhtiari? Because that was like my one fear all week was like, does this whole like offensive line completely being in shambles now, like affect Rodgers and Devontae?
No, they just got dominated on defense. The Bears had 35 minutes time of possession. They ran 74 plays. The Packers ran 44 plays. It was the defense that sucked. They got
and the Packers like threw these like long touchdowns to like MVS
in Lazard.
like that. Yeah,
I mean, in the fourth quarter, the Bears had a 7-minute drive that went 40 yards and got no points on the board. Like, it was the most Trubisky Nagy drive of all time. It's just there's nothing you can do.
Nate, did you?
They made the playoffs.
Nate, did you consider playing David Montgomery today?
Considered it. Also considered DJ. Didn't end there, but
they must start down, dude. You gotta
Are you serious that the Bears made the playoffs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No fucking way.
The Bears and the Browns made the playoffs, man.
Yeah.
2020, baby. 2020.
Can I bet this line yet?
2020
I think it was
different,
the Saints.
guys.
Is it the Saints they get?
I actually did this all on a board earlier.
Let's see it.
Do we have the first Pete bit?
I don't remember. Is it?
No, I went full Steve Kornacki. Yeah, the Saints versus the Bears, I believe, is what I have here.
I don't really want to bet on. I don't really want to bet on the Saints though.
I can't tell if there's actual words there or if it's.
I don't think it's words. Oh wait, there are. No, it is.
And then we had I had Leone and Holka pick how the playoffs were going to go, and Leone picked the Bills to win the Super Bowl. Surprise, surprise.
Surprise.
What can you do?
Honestly, though, Josh Allen's a stud.
He is.
Evan Ingram, bro.
Hot
what do we do? Like, what? This was terrible, man. Wait, hold on. Wait. Before we get to tight end, Laviska fucking Shenault. Am I right, Pete? Am I right? Imagine not playing Laviska Shenault, the TD maker. How poetic for your cash week to be able to cash in on Laviska Shenault.
Dude, when I go back and watch the All 22, I'm sure I'm going to have a take like they were just manufacturing touches for him in the red zone.
I mean, the other thing, he was in the dome. He was in the dome.
Boner.
Hey, how did we miss out on this?
Dome boner, man. Just imagine.
He played Keelan Cole.
What? Did you really?
Yeah. I needed a 3K.
Wait a minute, let me pull this up. Is that true?
Yeah, I legit did. I needed a 3K.
Dude, you played Keyshawn Johnson. You can't laugh at anyone's wide receiver choices.
Everybody had to do a 3K. Not playing Richie James. Yeah. I thought about Conley, but the reason I went Cole was because, I mean, Glennon, you want the slot wide receiver who can't get down the field. Like,
dude.
So,
oh my God. He was playing behind like Terry Godwin. Do you know who Terry Godwin is?
He's the main slot guy. Anytime they have 3 wide receivers, he's running the routes that Glennon's arm can get to. So I figured he'd get all the targets.
Bro,
he put up Deontay Johnson type efficiency.
How dare you?
Like 8, 9 targets.
How dare you?
Oh yeah, let's do a check on our guy Deontay's yards per target today. Deontay
Keep
Johnson.
scrolling.
No, huge yards per target today. He might even be up to like Matt Asiata levels of yards per target now because he racked up 96 yards on 4 targets.
God, you know what felt so good? It was last week playing Deontay Johnson in cash and just like dunking on you guys. I mean, who cares about his yards per target? He's getting like 14 targets every game. Like, do we need to relitigate this? No.
Not today, bro.
No.
Not today, bro.
Because yards per target.
How are you feeling about the Steelers in the playoffs? How are we feeling good? We feeling confident?
No, I'm going to offer you a buyout on that.
Best team in the NFL.
You can buy me out for $50.
Okay, let's talk offline. I'm going to heavily consider this.
All of us are sending
I got to see how quickly we're going to meet the Bills.
You're going to owe me $125 if the Chiefs make the second round, right? Wasn't it 50 to 125?
I don't know, man. I'd had a little bit to smoke that day. I honestly don't recall it all.
All right, so of all the dumb shit of this slate, I don't feel bad about not playing Marvin Jones because I just want if I'm gonna fucking lose and Marvin Jones get 40, I'm gonna lose and Marvin Jones gets 40. That's the name of the game. But not playing Donald Parham, dude. Donald Parham is like an XFL stud. I played him last week and I told Nate he was bad for not playing him, and then he played a bunch of snaps and he was gonna do the same thing again. What? Why did we not play Parham, Pete? Why did we not play Parham?
I played Parham.
I know.
Because I was looking at optimals and I saw no Parham and I kept seeing fucking Evan Ingram in all of them. And my Nate brain kicked in and I was like, I must play Ingram.
Dude, you got to give him the XFL boost.
Pete, I mean, don't get me wrong. Sometimes you got to look at the optimals. That would have led you to Marvin Jones Jr. this week. It would have led you to Crowder. But occasionally, and this is the thing you got to remember about cash games, sometimes it's a little bit more of an art. And you have to know that Parham was on the field. He's big, he's fast, he's tall, he can make plays. They look for him in the red zone. And lo and behold, touchdown, Donald Parham. It was so lit. I mean, that was, Parham's last week on the show, I was bemoaning the fact that I played Parham, but because I didn't think he played that many snaps, but he was playing 80% of snaps. And I was like, oh, this is fantastic. And then they didn't bump up his price at all. I was like, y'all should have played Parham, man.
Can you imagine if we had it would have been getting off Visca, but still doing the Ingram, that swap I talked about to get to Marvin and Parham.
We do. We have Kirk,
just balls
Marvin Jones
onto the desk for the Swolecast if they're the Gillcast if that happens.
Could have been the nuts. I had a bad swap too. I could have gone down to Marvin Jones and then up to Richie James at my 3K receiver. That would have been hot. I mean, basically anything that got you to Marvin Jones would have been the nuts. What are you going to do? I mean,
I can't believe Marvin Jones.
Nate,
literally.
Here's the thing. Nate played Marvin Jones and he finished last. Nate played. That's incredible. How did this happen?
Because you guys got 40 burger from freaking Jonathan Taylor. We had 2 stealing games.
Just imagine just ringing up a 40 ball from Marvin Jones in the morning and still not being able to beat the other 3 fish in this room. It's so incredible.
Nate in our text thread is just turning the screw, and I was just so ready for the Jonathan Taylor explosion. You did?
I set it up. If I wouldn't have tweeted or sent you anything, Jonathan Taylor gets 120 yards and a touchdown here. And I'm like, I am just floating off into the sunset. Week 17, feeling good. I did this to myself.
You mushed him into it with the tweet. You mushed him into it.
I did this to myself.
Bring up the tweet.
Oh, yeah. You loved it.
I did this to myself.
Nate was so excited to get the windmill tweets in there.
He couldn't even wait till the end of the slate. He's like, the people won't be on Twitter later. I got to do it now. I got to get my interactions, bro.
Poor Nate comes out of his shell once every 3 weeks to do a tweet, and then he mushed it.
And the Cousins over Lamar thing, I was feeling so good. I'm like, oh my gosh, Kirk Cousins going to put up a friggin' 40 burger.
What are you guys doing? Follow Nate Noling on Twitter, guys. I mean, what are you doing? How's this guy? I mean, the dude has his own model. He's producing his own screenshots, and he only has 2,500 followers. Follow Nate on Twitter, you savages.
Yeah, every 3 weeks you'll get one of these awesome Dunk on Davis tweets.
It's incredible that Nate even has 25,000 or 2,500 followers just from being on this podcast. Like it's really something.
It really is.
Ah,
So
Pete,
the Evan Ingram thing sucked.
Yeah,
I don't
Nate,
think we've told you that enough.
have you been on, how many weeks have you played? Because you've been Team Waller. Have you played some Kelsey? So you've been willing to pay up at tight end.
No, I don't like Kelsey prices have been too much at tight end for me. Waller even got to the point where I stopped playing Waller. I mean, I played Waller when he was like 5K, 6K. Now he's like 70. What was he? 7,200 today. I don't think I had him anywhere, even in GPP. But Evan Ingram at this price, like the volume he was getting, I was like, this is a great play. I felt so much better about him over Parham just because I think these guys who come into roles, step into roles on week 15, week 16 or whatever, just have such a low floor because we have no idea their actual usage. Where Evan Ingram, we've seen consistent usage for 16 weeks of the year or however long he's been healthy. I mean, last week he saw 10 targets. I mean, the dude, I did not think Evan Ingram over Parham was going to go this way.
Nate,
Did anyone have Kittle in their shell at all? Because he was in a lot of optimals as well.
I did. I was going to play Kittle.
I was rooting for that. Yeah.
What would you have done at wide receiver? You would have had to go like 3K guys.
Double.
No. I wasn't going to play Jonathan Taylor, bro. I was also going to play. I was going to play Malcolm Brown and Kittle.
We got robbed. This Malcolm Brown thing would have literally changed this whole show.
Not for me. I was not playing him.
Nate, by the way, Darren Waller was like 9 for 117 and a touchdown today.
Oh, I know. He was
in the winning Wildcat lineup.
Dude, the Whopper is just so juicy on Darren Waller.
I'm just saying, paying 7-1 at a tight end position is hard for me when, guys like Marvin Jones are 5-1.
Yeah, Parham's 2.9. I mean, how can you justify it?
What did Parham actually get? He only got 3 targets last week. What did he get? 2 targets this week, and one of them was a touchdown. Like,
no,
you're dunking on us, Sammy. I don't even know. What did he get?
He got more than that. He got 4 targets, which was 3rd on the team because they only threw 31 times.
Yeah, so he ran bad, honestly, Nate.
3 targets last week and 4 targets this week. I'll take that out.
I believe he was either down at the 1 or had a touchdown called back though. Right, Sammy? No,
I think he got a target in the end zone that like he was really close to catching another one. I mean, Nate, there was also some air yard stuff you haven't like incorporated into your model yet, but I think when you do, you'll be pleasant.
Yeah, you got to work on that.
One thing I did
good Whopper.
What I didn't incorporate into my model was Levine, Toliolo, and Caden Smith working ahead of Evan Ingram at a lot of points during the game.
Watching Caden Smith do a spin move was not one of my highlights of the season. I think watching.
I have played Caden Smith in.
I was going to say, I remember you last year playing him.
Yeah. We're on Caden.
Yeah, I mean, you can't keep that guy off the field. He's too good.
But what was great was getting the texts from Nate about Levine Toilolo like getting targets, and I'm like, where's Toilolo play? And I looked it up, and I saw it was on New York, and then I understood.
Love it when Dante Pettis, gets the same amount of targets in the touchdown.
That was Evan Ingram. So when Pettis scored the touchdown, I was like, "Oh, that's Evan Ingram."
I thought so too. It was tilting.
Boy, you don't love to see it. You don't love to see it at all.
Yeah, let's talk our Whopper, boys. I want to know what Parham's Whopper was today. It had to have been high.
No, not good because he's low average up the target. Are you coming back week 17 with us next year?
Oh yeah, we can make this a tradition. I don't ever want
to. We got to get you. So we got to get you your deposit king bet back on FanDuel though, so you can do both.
Oh, I legit need a deposit on FanDuel. I think I'm down to like $60 over there.
You'll get no games though. I don't know. I probably got like 100 or so invites this week thanks to the tertiary bit. Literally no games. No games on FanDuel though. Not one invite on FanDuel. People don't send them.
Yo, Pete, we gotta know though. Like, what did this week do for your future? Like, what kind of bro are you moving forward? Like, was the taste of this cash stuff just like so sweet, or were you like, no thanks, it sucks?
All jokes aside, I loved the change of pace. Like, I almost feel like I want to do a midpoint, like say week 8 or week 9, do a cash game week just to clear my head. Yeah, a palate cleanser. That's what I need to do. It was this great change of pace. I didn't have to think about any galaxy brain plays. I want to add more of it into my life, I think. Are you guys do you play cash on the playoff slates?
Hell yeah.
It'll depend. Yeah, I mean, we have done it in the past. Like, I think we did it. The last time I did it was the back-to-back Nyheim Hines 0 weeks when the Colts were like 7-point underdogs. Hines got 0 points in back-to-back weeks. That was the last time I did.
Bad. That was bad.
The other thing is there's more games now because they changed the playoffs, so there's going to be a whole like extra game.
Yeah, so
but how are the slates split up?
It'll be 2 3-gamers.
Yeah, that's pretty hot.
We'll probably do the show next week. You guys down?
Yeah. I mean, like, I kind of play until like basically championship weekend, you know, and then it's just like showdown stuff.
I listen just to get Sammy's IDP props for the Super Bowl. That's kind of my the highlight.
By the way, I don't know if you heard the Tate cast, but I touted Devin Bush, who unfortunately got hurt, and Zach Cunningham to lead the league in tackles as like your good bets. I think Zach Cunningham got there. We got to see. I think he got 13 today. Came in leading. I think he got there. So what's up?
Sammy, Antonio Brown also smashed today.
Antonio Brown,
your boy, also smashed today. Did you just rake it in GPP?
Who's that?
Did you rake it in
Antonio
GPP?
Brown.
Oh, Antonio Clown. Yeah, he had a great day.
He had like 35 on DK.
Yeah, you do love to see it. You know, I know we're not like relitigating this, but the whole day I was kind of tilting about not playing Alexander Madison. And as it turned out, like it was
he
fine.
He didn't fit on DK, right? Like it just like whatever. Like I don't know how he would have fit because if you play him over Jonathan Taylor, which I thought was bad to begin with, what are you doing? Are you playing Lamar at quarterback and then I guess Lamar at quarterback, Marvin Jones, Noah Fant, right? So Marvin Jones over Visca or the 4K spot, and then Noah Fant at tight end over Parham.
I guess so. I mean, the thing is, like, would you play Dalvin Cook at 6,100 against Detroit? Of course you would, right? I mean,
well, we did this Alexander Madison thing once this year, bud.
Yeah, but that's mentally weak, bro. It's mentally weak to be like, oh, I did it once.
They tried to give Mike Boone a touchdown. They tried to give Mike. You watched it.
They gave Abdullah a touchdown as well.
Yeah, their red zone usage is so different.
Yeah, but
than
Madison got
versus
touchdowns
Cook.
anyways. Dude, he got 21 carries. He had 3 targets against Detroit in the dome. I mean, I don't know, man. I honestly,
if you wanted to play Madison, there was only one website on the internet that gave you a good deal. And that was FanDuel.com. He was a must play there.
This is why you didn't feel bad about not playing him on draft. I was kind of tilting.
No, because I'm winning every contest on FanDuel from 1 p.m. on, and you just never have to sweat it. It's like it's a magic fairyland.
It sounds great. I just think we didn't consider him enough. And I know he didn't like fit, but like we didn't even consider him. Like I played him on my main GPP team because I was like, dude, he's such a strong play. But I didn't play him in cash. And, you know, dude, he was a really good play. Like a really good play. And I'm not trying to be like results oriented about it. It's just like he's going to get he's more than 67% of Dalvin Cook. And he's 67% of the price. So it's just math, you know?
It's just math, bro.
Just math. Like sometimes it's a little bit more of a science, and you know you got to figure that part out.
Did you ever consider Madison, Pete?
No,
I did, but I played Swift over him. I mean, it wasn't that his price point was weird for me.
Oh my god!
Because I played at that price point. I played the price point. I played a 6'3" running back, and so like 6'1" wouldn't have been hard for me at all. I probably could have gotten. No, I would have gotten all 3. I wouldn't have gotten up to Chenault, but I just thought Swift was a better play than Madison, and obviously it wasn't.
That's insane.
But there was just you were never the only way if you were committed to playing Henry and JT, and if you were going to play Madison, then you have to get off of Adams. Like that, you can't play those 3 and Adams.
Man, that's nuts, right?
That's what I'm saying. Play him instead of JT.
Right. No way.
Does Alexander Madison and AJ Brown, did that fit over Devontae Adams, Ty Montgomery? That's probably the lineup that won the Millie Maker.
Yeah. Easy game.
Ugh.
Easy game.
Sick, bro.
Yeah.
All right. That's enough. We don't need to give people any more than this. Pete, thank you for joining the show. It was did you get everything you wanted out of, being in the text thread? Was it everything you dreamed of?
Seriously, I would pay my ROI this week just to be in the text thread throughout the week. That was the
Did you get your money's worth? Yeah.
Oh yeah. I immediately, right after I knew I was doing this week, I was like, Davis, add me to the Gillcast text thread. I want to get in there. So yes, this was a wonderful week. I had a beautiful time focusing my attention on cash games. I do think week 17, because everyone say it's like a free for all and yada, yada, yada. That makes it even more variant.
It's
for
easier.
GPP.
It's easier. Yeah.
Week 17 is the cash game week. I do think that's a great cash game week.
Yeah. Your choices are very narrowed because there will be clear spots like where you just are like guys are unfadable, like Derrick Henry, like Ty Montgomery. We can relitigate the Ty Montgomery stuff, but he was just a clear play. And then you'll have like 2 or 3 judgment spots, and if you get those right, you sweep. So I'm with you. Yeah. All right, everyone. Thank you for listening to the Gillcast, and we'll be back next week. At least one more week of the show, maybe 2. If you guys are good.